Well, good evening. Welcome to the November 17th NPRSA meeting. Pursuant to the Governor Inslee Stay Home, Stay Healthy Proclamation 2025, in an effort to curtail the spread of COVID-19 virus, this board meeting will be conducted remotely. Members of the public are encouraged to attend. We have a link on our website if they'd like to do that. We'll call this meeting to order and do a roll call.
Okay, Chair Agnew.
Here.
Vice Chair Bess Campbell.
Present.
Board Member Dembowski.
Here.
Board Member Marshall.
Present.
Board Member Mead. And alternate Board Member McAuliffe. Okay, we have a quorum.
Well, thank you very much. We'll have any public comment? Did we receive any public comment?
We did not receive any public comment in writing prior to 3 p.m. this day. However, I think I saw we have a few people in the meeting as attendees. In a second, I will see if anyone who is attending this meeting as a member of the public would like to speak, please use the raise hand feature, and then I will unmute you and let you provide your comment at that time. And it doesn't look like anyone wants to do that.
Okay.
So no public comment at this time.
Thank you very much. Is there any changes to the agenda?
There are no changes to the agenda. Everything should be the same as it appeared in the packet or on the agenda that was posted on the website. I believe the agenda posted on the website is the most current version, which includes the ILA with Everett. That would be the only potential change.
Okay. Moving right along. We have a consent agenda. Nothing has been pulled. I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Dembowski seconds.
The consent agenda has been approved as presented by Rachel Bess Campbell initiating it and Rod Dembowski giving a second. Are there any comments? No comments? We'll take a vote.
Okay, Chair Agnew,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bess Campbell,
Yes.
Board Member Dembowski,
Yes.
and Board Member Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, passes 4-0 with Board Member Mead and alternate Board Member McAuliffe absent.
Okay, consent agenda has been done. Next, we have some reports. The first report will be the NPRSA capital repairs update with Christine, sorry.
So capital repairs update. Let's see. Next, we have it. Robert, do you have the next slide? Okay, so highlight.
More screens.
Yeah, got it. The ionization filters and concrete repair project. We are in the closeout stage of that. So the concrete repair and the ionization filters are in. It just needs to be inspected and project closed out. Bathroom repair and modernization. I actually have completed the final inspection at this time. So inspection is complete, and we are looking at closing out that project. The next item is the pedestrian bridge project. So we are moving forward with the option B, which would be the option that addresses all the structural repairs. It will address paint and also the traffic coding on the pedestrian portion of the bridge. We are excluding the scope that calls out for the handrails to be repainted. I was just trying to reduce the scope so that we can that cost down a little bit. Also, there were some discrepancies in the original scope that was sent over from the contractor. So we kind of fine-tooth combed through that and made some revisions, and so we're down to about 625 or 615, sorry, without any of our contractor fees, as well as any taxes. So we are moving forward with that project, and we hope to start work the first week of December. So that's moving along pretty quickly. Is there a next slide? I believe there is. Yep. So we still have some projects that are in the initial scope phase. The next big one is the envelope repairs. So I'm working with the contractor to get that scope complete. And we're also looking at the roof replacement at the senior center, the HVAC center, the HVAC replacement at the senior center. So those are ones that we are still trying to figure out the scope on. As far as the bioswale and the grease trap interceptor, we're still doing some, basically some initial, what's the word I'm looking for, investigation on those two items to try to see what the problem is and how we put together our project. So we're still working on those. I believe that concludes my capital repairs report.
Are there any questions? Councilmember Marshall.
Just real quick, could you really simply summarize the difference between the two HVACs?
The HVAC, we have HVAC replacement. Are you talking about the HVAC, the NPRSA upgrades?
Right. Is there,
Okay.
what's the difference between that, the upgrades, and just total replacement, or and whereabouts are those? If just
So we installed, so the HVAC and BAS upgrades was done prior to me coming on board. Was started and then completed. But from what I understand, there was some ionization filters that were replaced. Just upgrades to controls. So just to keep them chugging along until we can do the actual replacement. So we're replacing all. We're actually looking at installing a newer system where they'll be able to the senior center will be able to monitor the temperatures and all the controls from like just logging onto a computer and doing it via web versus what they have now, where it's kind of convoluted and pretty hard to manage as far as like keeping temperatures where they need to be.
Are there any other questions? Well, moving to the next report, we get to hear from Nathan Phillips.
Good evening, everybody. More importantly, I get to sit in with you. So it's nice to be here. Thank you for having me this evening. This is my first NPRSA meeting as the new CEO at the North Shore Senior Center. And it's a pleasure to be here. I took over from Brooke about a month ago, as I think most of you know. Those are some pretty impressive shoes to try and fill, but I'm trying to fake it for as long as I can. And I'm also still trying to find my way around the buildings too. But it has been a pleasure to come on board, and I'm just still learning a lot and getting up to speed on the great work that's going on. But one thing I just wanted to mention as part of my onboarding, I had the chance to speak with Marianne Lagerfo a couple of weeks ago, who was kind of the visionary leader of the North Shore Senior Center and helped start the NPRSA to get it going. And she really kind of was so impressive. And to look at what the Senior Center and the buildings are doing today, it just made me so grateful for the foresight and the incredible determination that group had to get this partnership going. But Marianne also made it very clear to me that we're up next and that it's our turn to start. What we're building today will be what people in 30 and 50 years from now will look back on. So it was great to kind of hear from her and get inspired, but also a little bit nerve-wracking when she really put the expectation on us like that. So with that in mind, and like the 50-year horizon in front of us, I'll give you a few updates of what's going on at the Senior Center right now. First of all, from our end, we're really excited to see some of the work that's getting underway. And also our members are seeing some of that work happening too, especially the plumbing in the first floor of the Senior Center. And as soon as the concrete gets repaired, it's really getting people's attention. So they're starting to see that happen. So thank you for that. There's also been, I know we've talked in this meeting, I've heard that there's been some discussion in this meeting about the idea of putting in a sports court or pickleball court behind the Bothell building, the Senior Center building. And that idea is really picking up some steam. It hasn't, of course, come to this group for a final approval, but there's already been some, thanks to Councilmember Dembowski, some county funding that's been earmarked for that. And we've had some donors actually step forward with some interest in that as well. So that's a project that's definitely kind of gathering steam. So thank you all for your positive thoughts on that as it got pitched. And we'll be back with more updates as it moves further down the road. And then also, next year is the 30th anniversary of the Bothell building, the Senior Center building, but it's the 50th anniversary of the founding of the North Shore Senior Center. So it's a big year for us next year. We're really excited to kind of get this, the scope of work for some of our big projects underway, because we're planning some big parties of our own for next year too. So we know there'll be some closures and some program interruptions next year too, but we're excited to start kind of to weave those in together as the buildings get a little bit of a facelift. So we're excited for that too. Just a couple of other pieces of information you might be interested in. We now have both of the buildings open and operating programs right now. In fact, the Adult Day Health program just kind of got started up again this week. So it's great to see some of the communities that have been most isolated and impacted by COVID start to come back into the buildings for services and to connect with one another. So it's great to see. The fitness center, in fact, Judy let me know that the fitness center has seen its busiest day all year this week. So we're starting to see that people are kind of coming out and getting re-engaged, which is great news. We were able to have all our holiday market with COVID controls in place. It was great to bring that back this year. So that was kind of a signal or a sign. People said that felt like things were getting back to normal a little bit. And then just overall at the senior centers, we feel like we're running at about a 40% programming rate of what we were pre-COVID. And so that combined with the fact that people are still trying to figure out what's safe and what they're comfortable doing, combined with the fact that we're still doing a lot of online and virtual programming as well, it means things are really starting to come together, and we're excited for what next year has to bring. So that's the update from our end. I just deliver that news and see if anyone has any questions for me. See if you can quiz the new guy on anything.
Are there any questions for the new guy?
I've got one.
Hey, go for
So,
it.
pickleball. Pickleball is an incredibly popular sport here in Woodinville. I know we have a lot of our residents who have a league. get a little competitive. How likely is it that we're going to get that pickleball court within the next year?
Well, board member Beth Campbell, I think that the year is probably a good target. It seems like a pretty easy thing to do, but of course we want to make sure we get it done the right way. But I think a year time frame is pretty doable.
All right. Well, we're going to have to set up a very competitive league because I mean, I'm not saying we're going to put money down on it, but I'm just saying Woodinville has a pretty fierce pickleball league is what I'm saying. So
we might have to have an intercity tourney and
absolutely nothing like a little bit of fun after being apart for so long. I can't wait. I think that's an excellent idea. Way to go.
Are there any other questions? Councilmember Marshall.
Yeah, hi Nathan, I'm Joe Marshall, and I just want to put in my spoke for however theoretical and visionary it may be, some participation with a public pool at some point in the future. Kenmore really is looking forward to one. And of course, we used to have one at the North Shore pool, the Coastie Ruiz pool, where the McMinimans is now. But, you know, I think it'd be something that seniors could really take advantage of. Pool's great because it can help serve all communities. But that's just long-term vision. I just wanted to plant the seed as usual. But then the question is, put you on the spot here, are we still doing the meals at the Kenmore Senior Center?
so right now at the Kenmore Senior Center, and I can I'll double check with the team to make sure I got it right. But right now the meals we're doing the food pantry program at the Kenmore Senior Center, which is cool to see that kind of up and going. Especially the demand we've seen for food pantry has been pretty impressive, and so we're really happy to be able to provide that service in the community. So the food pantry systems is going well. We're still not doing in-person dining at the centers yet. But for folks who used to participate in our in-person dining, we're still able to do hot meal delivery a lot of the times too. So we're trying to make sure we can meet that gap halfway. But we're also really excited to eventually be able to bring people back into the centers and break bread together for lunch and things again soon. So.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Are there any more questions? Well, welcome aboard, Nathan. This group is a very solid group, and they are putting their nose to the grindstone, and we're going to try to get stuff done.
That's what I've heard. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, sir. Okay, discussion items. We have about 5 discussion items. The first one is consider the minute order MO 21-14, receiving the third quarter 2021 financial report.
In our Q3 financial report, got the slide. Revenues are on track as projected.
Christine, your microphone is turned off.
Talking.
We were following the graph.
So the revenues are on track as projected, as you can see. Our expenditures, though, are low due to the lack of the capital repairs that we have done over the last 3 quarters with the employee turnover that we've had, and also I feel like the 2021 capital repair plan in itself was pretty ambitious. We are hopefully Q4 looks better, especially with the bridge project, ramping up. Cash balances. So in our general fund, we have about 1.6 million. In our bond fund, we have about 324,000. And then we also have the Department of Commerce grant capacity, which is at 399. So I think that wraps up the Q3 report.
I would recommend a motion or at least entertain one, if at all possible.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve minute order number MO-21-14, receiving the Q3 2021 financial report.
Councilmember Bess Campbell has moved a motion for the minute order. Is there a second on the motion?
Second.
And Councilmember Marshall seconded it. We have a motion and a second considering the minute order MO-21-14 receiving the Q3 2021 financial report. Any discussion on the motion? With no discussion, I'd entertain a vote.
Okay, Chair Agnew,
Yes, accept.
Vice Chair Bess Campbell,
Yes.
Board Member Dembowski,
yes,
and Board Member Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 4-0 with Board Members Mead and alternate Board Member McAuliffe absent.
Okay, moving right along. 5B is the consideration of an agreement of A-21-09 with the City of Everett for cooperative purchasing.
Right. So currently we have a standing interlocal agreement with the City of Everett, which allows us to use their job order contracting to complete our capital repairs. So the ILA with Everett was approved April 2021 through, well, this extends it, extends it from April 2021 to November 2024. It gives us about $1 million of job order capacity per year. We do realize that there will be additional job order capacity that will be needed to complete the 2022 capital repairs plan. And we are exploring additional options, including the option for the NPRSA to secure its own job order contracting program, since we have a lot of capacity and a lot of work to get done in the next few years. So would like to just eliminate the ILA option in itself and look to secure our own job order contracting program. I believe that concludes.
So I'd like to move to approve the agreement of A-21-09 with the City of Everett for cooperative purchasing.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve agreement A-21-09 with the City of Everett for cooperative purchasing.
Thank you, Vice Chair Bess Campbell.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Motion by Councilmember Bess Campbell and seconded by Councilmember Marshall to agree the agreement on A-21-09 with City of Everett for cooperative purchasing. Is there any discussion on the motion? Without discussion, I would entertain a vote.
Chair Agnew,
Agreed.
Vice Chair Bess Campbell,
Yes.
Board Member Dembowski,
yes,
and Board Member Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, passes 4-0 with Board Member Mead and alternate Board Member McAuliffe absent.
Moving right along, now we're going to have to do a public hearing. So this public hearing is to consider the resolution R-21-06, adopting the 2022 NPRSA budget.
All right. So we're going to start off with the 2022 work plan. And so we basically derived board approved 2022 work plan, and community connection and services. We want to maintain the website and improve engagement through social media platforms, Under risk management and financial responsibility, we'll maintain the current public records program, administer the Department of Commerce grant, maintain board insurance, and implement a new capital reserve strategy. Under capital repairs and state facilities, we will establish and implement processes for tenant improvement and or repair requests, implement the preventative maintenance schedule, and implement the 2022 NPRSA capital repairs plan. So moving forward, I believe our next slide is the actual capital repairs plan. So at the senior center, we're looking at the building envelope with an estimated cost of $600,000, a roof replacement at $500,000 estimated cost, and then the HVAC and system replacement, which is $800,000. At the health and wellness center, we need to repair a bioswale, estimated cost $60,000. Grease trap interceptor repairs at $100,000 and a roof replacement at $300,000. Facilities want to replace carpet, which is estimated cost of $250,000, and then of course the pedestrian bridge project, which was previously estimated at $900,000, but currently we've got that down to about $615,000 without fees and taxes. So moving on to the 2022 budget highlights, the beginning reserves are going to be a little under 2.5 million, and projected revenues for 2022 is about 2 million. Projected expenditures that we have planned for is about 3.8 million, with projected capital expenditures being about 3.3 million, and then projected ending reserve is 700, a little over 700,000. Have another slide, Barbara? Okay, no. So that will conclude our presentation on the 2022 budget.
So is there anybody from the public that would like to discuss anything? Do we have anybody in the wings? Barbara, you're muted.
We have 2 members of the public in attendance. If either of you would like to comment on the budget as proposed, please use the raise hand feature. I will call on you and speak at that time. No comment at this time.
Okay, I would entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to close the public hearing and move to approve resolution R-21-06, adopting the NPRSA budget.
I have a motion by Rachel Beth Campbell to close the public hearing and adopt the NPRSA budget. Do I have a second?
Second.
Board Member Marshall has a second. So we have a first, we have a motion, we have a second. Are there any comments on the motion? With none being there, I would consider a vote.
I had a question.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Marshall.
That's all right. What was the reason for the decrease in the bridge amount?
So I took away there was a lot of work, a lot of handwork with the railings. And so basically they were looking at stripping the handrails down and also repainting, like de-rusting and then repainting. So we took the scope off. And then also there were some discrepancies that I found in the contractor's calculations as far as like square footages and also We're kind of trying to, of course, give us the Cadillac service of bridge refurbishing. And so we kind of scaled back on that, and I was able to, get the cost down considerably.
Great. And I missed a little bit of it. Are there still going to be railings, or is there going to be some functional equivalent?
We're just leaving the railings in place, and then my plan is at the end of next year, if we do have capacity, I would like to just take the current railings off and replace them with new ones. It's about the same cost. But it will give, that option would give the bridge kind of a facelift, because the railings that are currently on it are kind of out of date. And so it will give it a nice facelift, and it's easier because we wouldn't have to worry about any of the blood paint called out as on the bridge. And so we would have to, if we wanted to repaint them, we would have to do a lot of environmental mitigation. And so just taking them down and putting up new powder coated, I feel is the best decision. But we'll address that after we get through some of the major repairs that we need to get through 2022.
Mr. Chair, I have a question.
Go ahead.
So we're going to be needing a new job order contract, and looking at the 3.8 million that we have scheduled for next year, how soon do you anticipate us getting that job order contract? Are we going to start some work concurrent with looking for that new contract, just to kind of keep that ball rolling? And how long do you think it's going to take to get that figured out?
Yeah, so we have amended the ILA that we have currently with Everett, which gives us about $1 million in capacity to get us through the first quarter of 2022. And it'll take about 3 to 4 months for us to get our actual job contract established. So we are working with Gordian now to do that.
That's perfect.
With no other questions and comments, I would ask for a vote.
Okay, Chair Agnew,
Yes, adopt.
Vice Chair Bess Campbell,
Yes.
Board Member Dembowski,
yes,
and Board Member Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 4-0 with Board Member Mead and alternate Board Member McAuliffe absent.
Perfect. I think we have one more item that we need to talk about. Public hearing, opening a public hearing now again to consider resolution R-21-07, setting the 2022 regular property tax levy in King and Snohomish County.
Okay, so as you may remember from last year, it falls to the board of the NPRSA to draft a resolution that states what the exact tax levy and the levy amount collected will be each year. That's how we determine our revenue that helps us pay for all the things we approved in our budget. Last year, the board approved a 1% increase to the original levy amount. So the original levy amount when the voters approved the levy was $1,490,000. At that amount, the owner of a property assessed at $600,000 would pay taxes of $28.87 per year. Last year, that was increased by 1% in accordance with state law, which set the total amount that we receive to $1,504,900. This increase was slightly above the rate of inflation, which last year was about 0.6%. We had to pass a special resolution to do the full 1% increase, if you recall. This increased the amount of taxes that the owner of a property assessed at $600,000 would pay to $28.90. That's about 3 cents difference. For 2022, A similar increase of 1% to the total amount we collect would set our levy at $1,519,949. This is significantly below the rate of inflation for this year, which was 3.86%. So we would not need a special resolution authorizing a large increase, because this is small. The 1% that we are potentially increasing is lower than the rate of inflation. And if we passed this, then the owner of a property assessed at $600,000 would pay taxes of $28.93 per year. So again, a 3% increase from last year, totaling 6 cents increase from when the levy was initially passed. The board has two policy options in determining the 2022 levy rate. The first option is to maintain the current levy rate, but levy taxes on any new construction that's happened during 2021. This would increase our projected revenues about $15,000 relative to last year. So we would make $1,535,000 in tax revenue. Or we can increase the levy rate by 1%, which would increase our projected revenue $30,000 to a total of $1,550,000. And again, this would have sort of a negligible impact on the owner of a median value property. The thinking here is that as there is inflation, but also rising costs of materials in excess of inflation due to the current market, the NPRSA might consider taking advantage of the state laws which permit this 1% yearly increase, so that we have more funds available for next year's capital repairs. However, should the board choose not to increase the 1% or the full 1%, then we would be able to save that increase for a subsequent year. So for example, if we chose not to increase the tax rate this year, we could theoretically in 2022 increase it by 2% instead of just 1%. However, because of the way that interest works, essentially in compounding, we will see the greatest amount of total tax income over the entire length of the levy if we do the full 1% increase each year. So let me know your thoughts.
I think you're going to hear them. Any discussion?
This is Rod.
Go ahead, Rod.
I think given the inflation we're seeing out there, particularly in the construction and materials field, it makes sense to take the 1% add on, and it's a pretty small, very small impact to the average homeowner. So I would be supportive of proceeding in that direction, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Dombowski. Councilmember Marshall, what do you think?
I tend to agree, but I had a question, and I'm sorry if I was off point. Are we supposed to open the public hearing first, or did I miss that?
We opened the public hearing.
We did. Okay. Thank you.
Councilmember Bess Campbell?
I think that incremental change to property tax is a little easier for people to absorb, and 3 cents per homeowner, average homeowner right now, I don't think is that outrageous given what our property values are. I'm in favor of taking the full 1% because we can get these repairs done now, and I'd rather have them done now rather than drag them out and then try to, take extra, percentages in subsequent years. If we have the ability to do it now without any extra complications, let's just do it.
I tend to agree with you. I think taking the 1% now is the way to go. So closing the public hearing.
Mr. Chair, would you like a motion?
I would love a motion.
Mr. Chair, I move to approve resolution number R-21-07, setting the 2022 regular property tax levy for King and Snohomish counties at 1%.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Marshall. Motion was Councilmember Bess Campbell, seconded by Councilmember Marshall to set the regular property tax levy at 1% for King and Snohomish County. Any discussion? Take a vote on the action.
Okay, Chair Agnew,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bess Campbell,
Yes.
Board Member Dembowski,
Yes.
and Board Member Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, passes 4-0 with Board Member Mead and alternate Board Member McAuliffe absent.
Outstanding. I think we have one more item that we need to talk about. And consider the minute order number 21-17 scheduling bi-monthly meetings in 2022.
Right, so scheduling bi-monthly meetings. In this, we were thinking, so I guess the main point of this is that if we're meeting every 4 weeks, that doesn't give us a very lot of time to actually get work done, right? So it would allow us, the staff, more time to implement board direction between meetings, reduce staff overhead in preparing for board meetings. But we also recognize that this wouldn't prevent the board from convening special meetings to address emergent issues or prevent the board chair from changing meetings, the meeting schedule again back to monthly meetings in the future. So yeah, I think that I find that if we could meet bi-monthly, it would allow us to get more work done and get those questions answered and get those projects done, so that, and then we can meet. And then if we do need to meet to get approval, we can call a meeting on one of the off months. So that's kind of our thinking behind that.
Well, I'm just a dumb little country boy, but if you're asking politicians if they want to go to less meetings, I can almost guarantee where this is going to go.
We got to make sure we convene them though, and get a quorum. We got
Yes, yes.
Gotta get a quorum.
I
How's
can't
everybody?
help but take it a little personally that you don't want to see us every month, but fine.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Well, you're
We'll
not
have
gonna,
one-on-ones with you guys and keep you in the loop. But yeah.
there you go.
I think Councilmember Agnew is about to stick it to us and oppose this motion and require monthly
No,
meetings.
I will run this one by just for you guys. Okay.
Let's do it.
Would you like a motion, Mr. Chair?
I would love a motion.
I move to approve minute order number MO-21-17, scheduling bi-monthly meetings in 2022.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Marshall. Motion was made by Councilmember Bess Campbell to approve minute order scheduling bi-monthly meetings for 2022. Minute order number 21-17. Have a vote?
Okay, Chair Agnew,
Yes.
Vice Chair Bess Campbell,
Yes.
Board Member Dembowski,
Yes.
and Board Member Marshall.
Yes.
Okay, passes 4-0 with Board Member Mead and alternate Board Member McAuliffe absent.
So I think the last thing is future meetings. Are we going to have a December 15th meeting? Because I'm under the impression we probably don't have a whole lot to talk about then.
Well, I was, I put it to you guys, but we have the one project going on with the bridge, and we're just going to be starting work at the beginning of December. And with all the, the holiday, I am for foregoing the December meeting if that's what you guys want.
Works for me.
Joe,
I think I'm going to be on a flight at that time, truly.
where are you going?
Going to Hawaii.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry.
Joe, what do you think?
It sounds okay to me.
Okay. So it sounds like we'll omit the December 15th meeting and you will reconvene January 19th and pick a new chair and vice chair. And I want to thank everybody for the time that I've had on this board. I appreciate it a bunch.
Thanks
We
all.
want to thank you.
Yes, we
You've
appreciate
been an amazing
you.
chair and leader.
No, I'm just a fat old guy.
Come on. Sorry I didn't get up for your Veterans Way street naming. That looked really special.
It
Really
was-
nice. And the flagpole installation at the senior center.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really nice.
Pop Keeney, right?
Yeah, Bob Kinney is
That's
now,
awesome.
yeah, Veterans Memorial Drive. And then I'm
Excellent.
gonna get Nathan a little plaque for this flag out here.
Nice.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You'll get it.
All right. That sounds good.
Okay, well, without that, I hope everybody has a great holiday, a happy new year. See you guys on the flip flop.
And don't be a stranger. You know where to find us.
Oh, I do, on meetings.
That's right.
Yeah, I may just come in and listen for a while and
You
Be
can
the-
lurk on the other side.
A public comment.
public comment. What are you doing that for?
Yeah.
We deserve
love
to be heckled. Come on, you know how to do that.
Take care, guys.
Thanks.
And
Thanks
everybody.
all. All right. Happy holidays.
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Happy New Year.